or welcome back to Rise and Align, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts, Demi and
Halie. Today we are talking about love, and love is the highest frequency of vibration, and it is the essence of our being. I feel like people think of love as an emotion or something tangible in the 3D world, but I actually believe love to be more of a vibration than an emotion, and it is actually transcendent. I think that love connects you to more of the divine cosmic realms. I think that love is actually a lot deeper than what we actually try to use it as. But I also think that different people have different correlations to what the word love means. I think that they define it differently. And so when you tell someone that you love them, someone might interpret that differently than what your meaning behind it actually is. But I'm sure we'll get more into that. I would love to hear what love means to you, or how you would define love.
I, first of all, want to say that I agree that I think that a lot of people perceive love to be something outside of them, like something that they are striving to attain, rather than recognizing that it is the purest form of their being. And that's something that I've had to learn definitely myself, because I did grow up perceiving it differently. You know, there's so many fairy tales and Disney movies, and it makes it seem as though love is only something that you can receive from others and kind of like mutually share with another. But the purest form of love is, you know, like the essence of our being is all that is. And it's what creates all of us. So I think that's so beautiful. And I think there are different forms of relationships, but maybe love is something that you can feel within yourself and within absolutely everyone else, actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of times in relationships, or, you know, with another, it is love plus something equals, you know, what they think is love. So like love and like affection might equal passion to them. But I think that love is separate from all these other emotions that we use that kind of gets correlated with love. I think love, true, pure love, is unconditional. It is whole. It is oneness. It is no separation, no feeling of unworthiness, none of that other stuff that gets brought out in relationships or that can kind of be entangled with love. I think that, you know, love is not necessarily an emotion, but it is a vibration. It is something that you can connect to despite what's going on around you, despite what other people are doing or not doing. And you can also love others without expectations. Like there's so much expectations that people put on people that they love, but I don't think that that's not love. That's something else. I don't know what the word is for it. I think that love is so much more unconditional, and, you know, you don't need anything in return for loving someone, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think love is also like recognizing the divinity in someone else, or like you can see, it's almost like recognizing that you are one. When you truly connect to love, it's connecting to oneness, whether that's in yourself or someone else. You're connecting to the oneness of all that is, the source energy, pure love, light energy. And when you like experience that love with someone else, I think that it's like your souls, the essence or the frequency of your souls recognizing each other, because they are, in my opinion, that is like souls are pure love, light energy, and you're recognizing that feeling in someone else, and there's no higher vibration, so it causes you to feel that blissfulness that a lot of people associate with love.
I think that so many people perceive love to be limited, like that they think that there's a lack, or that there's going to be a lack. So like a lot of people going into relationships are afraid to say I love you, because they think that, one, a lot of people think like, oh, you shouldn't say it too soon, like it has to take time to love somebody. What do you think about that? Do you think it takes time to love somebody?
I feel like we use the term love in replacement of a different word. Like, I think that, you know, it takes time to maybe, to me, love is not the same as like building a relationship with someone, or like,
I think it's like a connection, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes. So I know, not even necessarily that, because I personally believe that connection can be and usually is instantaneous. Like, you know how you feel around a person, how you feel about a person. It takes longer to get to know the ins and the outs of the person. Like, people are so infinite within that, you know, it takes time to get to know the details, and you'll probably never fully know a person because you can never know them in the way that you know yourself. But that said, I think that love can be instantaneous if you are aligned with love yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because you kind of see everyone as a part of you. So it's not like this conditional, well, like, if you spend this time on me, then I'll love you. Or if you act a certain way, then I'll love you. Or if I know you enough, then I'll love you. It's just this recognition that, you know what, we're all one. And so therefore I love you as a part of me, as a part of all that is, unconditionally and infinitely.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you're in love with a person. And I think that that's where it becomes like there's different meanings to it.
So I think that I think it can take time to love someone, because our realities are a reflection of what's going on inside. And if your heart center is not opened, or if you're not feeling safe around the person, or if you have trouble being vulnerable with someone, you're not going to be able to experience that love. In order to feel love, you have to have an open heart. You have to, you know, be vulnerable with that person in order to actually see the true essence of their being.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, it's going to take time to get to that point where you feel comfortable, like letting those walls down, or like feeling vulnerable with someone, or you know, leading with an open heart. So if you're someone who has like a guarded heart, or if you're, you know, still getting to know someone, I think that's normal to not feel like you love them. I think it's just a matter of like what you have going on inside, and when you feel like comfortable and safe of like opening up to that person. But also, you know, there are those people that you immediately connect with and you feel safe with and have that like spark with. And then I think it's easy to feel like, you know, love at first sight, because for whatever reason you have that like immediate connection and you feel comfortable to like let your walls down with them right away and open your heart, and leading from your heart instead of your brain.
Yeah. I think there are so many different like forms and levels of love, because I think like in a way I have love and appreciation for all that is, but then also like the love that forms within relationships, within connections, it does feel a bit different. You know, it does. It's still, in its essence, it's still that same vibration, but it's like when you tie in vulnerability and trust and truly stripping your soul naked with another person, that creates such a strong bond. You know?
Yeah, like I see it as like an unveiling of their soul. So when you can, the more that you can strip down of like your humanistic traits and stuff, the more that you can like let that stuff go, like the closer you're going to connect with someone, and the easier that it's going to be to see their wholeness and see that they're connected to all that is, just like you are. It's easier to see that when you don't know someone very well and you're not comfortable getting to that really vulnerable part. You're not connecting to like the divinity, all that is qualities, a part of you. It's like you're caught up in life and not, you know, your godliness, I feel like.
Yeah. I think vulnerability takes so much self-acceptance. And like we had talked about in a previous episode, in Russ's book, he writes about having your boundaries down and exposing your soul. And when you are open about your vulnerabilities, then others cannot use them against you. It releases the fear within vulnerability. And so in order to share that within a relationship, and in order to receive that back from others, you have to first be comfortable enough with yourself and be self-accepting enough and self-loving enough that you're willing to expose your vulnerabilities. And if you're not, if you're closed off, you also close yourself off from love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely have to like love from the inside out. And even just, we talk about law of attraction, like you have to embody the feeling of love before you'll truly attract that from another. It's like, you know, we're reflecting our internal realities. With that being said, I think of loving from a place of abundance versus loving from a place of like lack and scarcity. When you are loving from a place of unworthiness, that is a lot different from a place of like pure joy. You're confident in this relationship and you feel secure. You're loving from that place versus like loving from a place of like insecurity. I feel like loving from scarcity versus abundance is the best way that I could put it. But I think there's like two routes that you can go that will obviously have very different outcomes. And when you're loving from a place of more negative vibrations, I think that has a purpose too. Like I think it teaches you a lot about yourself. But I don't see that as true unconditional pure love
I completely
energy.
agree. Yes, that was such a good point, and I completely agree. And I have experienced both ends of that spectrum, as I'm sure a lot of people have, because, you know, unfortunately, unworthiness and that kind of fear of abandonment and the lack of self-love is so prominent in our culture. It really is. So when you are loving from a place of lack, you become codependent because that person is now responsible for your happiness, rather than you realizing that no matter if this person loves me back or not, I still love me. I still got me. Like I am not losing, and there's nothing to lose in loving somebody else because I'm always going to have me. And I'm good enough without this person. But when you grow up exposed to codependency, you think that you're only good enough if you have the love of someone else. Like you don't learn that self-sufficiency and that self-love and that alignment with your truest self. So in order to get there, I think you have to experience relationships that reflect your current vibration. So definitely I've experienced relationships where I was loving from that place of lack and that kind of codependent, like, I need you to make me happy kind of place, right? And it's a place of lack, because then it's like, well, I only love you if you are going to be here in my life and like love me back. And then if you leave, then I don't have love. And it's like, no. Like you are love. You can't, the lack is an illusion no matter what we're talking about. If it's money or love or material possessions or people or anything, lack is completely an illusion. So when you come to that and you realize that when you're in this like negative vibration, this lack, this scarcity, this fear of abandonment, and this unworthiness on your own, that is all that you can attract within another, then you can't have that true unconditional and truly infinite and abundant love with someone else either. It's always going to feel like lack of love because neither of you loves yourselves. And if you don't have that love within you, you cannot attract that love within another.
Yeah. And it'll create contrast. Like that's when, you know, dynamics that aren't going to work, because naturally when you're feeling negative or you're operating from this negative place of fear, lack, worry, whatever, insecurity, you're going to attract situations that reflect that and create more contrast in your life or in that relationship.
Yep. And you're constantly going to act out of those feelings, which then creates the situations that you fear the most. You know, it creates the lack. And then it oftentimes in codependent relationships, it'll be like, well, if you act this way, then I will love you. Like if you delete Snapchat and, you know, if you need to do this and you need to do that, or I'm not happy and therefore like I don't love you and you don't love me. And I only believe that you love me if you do these things. And it becomes like this control because you're like so scared that you're holding on so tightly because you're fearing that you can lose this person or lose love or lose even yourself. But true love is unconditional and it's infinite and it's who you are. So when you work to find that within yourself as an individual, that's when you stop the fearing and you stop the lack beliefs about love, and you're truly able to love others and yourself unconditionally. And then love becomes this like really beautiful thing. And it's not perfect, you know, it takes work and it takes vulnerability and it takes time to correct the subconscious beliefs that you've maybe previously held on to that have stopped you from experiencing that true unconditional love. But it's so beautiful, and there is nothing more expansive. Like we cannot expand without relationships. And that's something that I think I didn't realize for a long time. Like I was so immersed in like learning to self-love and like learning to build my own life and figure out what I want as an individual, that I didn't realize that I was kind of pushing away relationships because it was still that kind of fear that others could hurt me. But once you expose your vulnerabilities and you realize that like there's nothing to lose in loving, then you're so much easier able to attract that and then act out of that. So it's like if you love, if your fear is that you're going to be like cheated on or abandoned or something like that, and you choose to love somebody anyway because you recognize like, well, even if they do that, so what? Like, I'll just move on. Like, I'll just find somebody who doesn't do that, right? Like, I'm not going to die. Like, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm not going to lose anything. Like, it doesn't reflect me. I didn't do it. Like, I didn't do anything. You know, there's nothing. It cannot take anything from me. Then you don't hold those fears anymore. And as soon as you let that go, you don't attract it anymore. You're not acting out of that. You don't attract the same vibration people or experiences.
And it's kind of empowering because you're saying, okay, you're not putting, first of all, you're not giving your happiness or your livelihood in, you're not like making someone else responsible for that. You're not like, make me happy, or like you're not putting that responsibility on someone. Like that's a lot of pressure, first of all. But also to know that you can be unconditionally happy without someone else is very empowering. You're not giving them the power to take that away from you, which I think is so special. But in doing that, it's not, we're not saying that being with someone else can't make you feel happy. It's just more of like it adds to your happiness. It's not that it's allowing you to be happy. It's like you can be happy on your own and, you know, coexist with someone else that's happy and create, you know, double
even
that.
more. Because two working together always creates more. Like we are more powerful together, most definitely. But also you're already whole. You know, and it becomes this balance. And I think that there's a level of healthy attachment within relationships and healthy detachment as well. So your happiness must be your responsibility within relationships. And that comes from the detaching of like, this person needs to be this way, or this person needs to make me happy, or this person needs to act this way for me to be happy. You detach from that. And I think that what detachment truly is attachment to faith in your well-being, regardless of what is going on, unconditionally of what happens in the physical reality around you. And when you attach to that faith and that well-being, the fear is gone.
Faith over fear. Like fear is an extremely low vibration, and faith is the opposite of that. So when you're connecting to that,
I think you feel true love then. You feel true love. It feels so much better to act from that place of faith and that place of abundance and that place of positivity and from that place of self-love. And like that is truly why people say you must love yourself first. And they also say that if a person does not love themselves, they're not going to be able to unconditionally love you. And I recognize that a lot of times in others, when other people are complaining about other people and they're like pointing out all these things that they don't like about other people, it's oftentimes reflecting the things that they don't like about themselves, that they don't accept about themselves. And true unconditional love, it comes from an intentional place of accepting the quote unquote like imperfect and negative things about yourself and others, and instead intentionally focusing on the good within them, the love within them, the positive qualities within them. And when you do that with yourself and others, you grow those qualities rather than when you focus on the negativity and what's wrong with this person. That's something I did for a long time. And Abraham Hicks talks a lot about this in relationships. Intentionally focus on what you do want within your relationships. So if you're with somebody and you're like, say that you're on the fence and you're like, I don't know if I want to be with this person forever or not, or whatever. Humans, man. But when you're like thinking that in your head, right? Instead of focusing on, well, I don't like the way they dress and I don't like this, focus on, well, they're really caring and they're really thoughtful and they're really reliable and they're really responsible, and like focus on the good qualities and you'll bring more of that out. And then even if you're not meant to be with that person, you will naturally align with those qualities in whoever that you're like quote unquote meant to be with, you know?
Yeah.
And then on another note, this is something that I want your opinion on too, because you've been in a long-term relationship. I guess I have been, but not for a very long time. And, you know, I was much younger, so it's such a different perspective. But I think that a lot of times we have this concept of relationships where it's just going to be fairy tale perfect and everything's going to go exactly how you want it to, and you're going to live happily ever after, and like you just know, and that's just it. And then I've heard other people say, like Abraham Hicks, like you just have to choose somebody. You can love anybody because there's infinite love, and focus on what you do want, and like that's what it is, and that's how you build a relationship. And I think that a lot of people, including myself, get kind of caught between that, like how do you know, and like how does a real relationship function? Like, is it always perfect? Is it something you have to work at? Does it change? Does it grow? Like how is that?
I feel like it is a little bit of both of those things, honestly, but I think it's a choice. Like you wake up and you have to choose to see the love in the other person. You have to choose to see the best parts of them and choose to like grow with them and love them through the difficult things. Like it's so easy, I feel like, to, you know, go through something difficult with someone or not have things be perfect and be like, I'll go find love somewhere else.
Yeah.
But that's always going to come up no matter who you're with. Like you are always going to be working through something. So if someone is a reflection of you, they're always going to naturally reflect what's going on inside of you. So I think, and going back to vibration, you're always going to attract the vibration that you are operating at. So no matter who you end up being with, it's going to be a vibrational match to how you are operating. So I just think that there's so much more to it, like the energetics and the vibrations, and choosing that person every single day and committing to this person. For me, being in a long-term relationship, I feel like the hard things still kind of seem almost, I don't want to say easy, but they seem like surpassable. Like it seems like, you know, possible to overcome them, and you want to overcome them with this person. And it doesn't, to me, the waves are not like crashing on the shores and like then still, it's just like more of like a steady flow of like going through things and not getting too crazy one way or the other, if that makes sense. Like it's just like finding that rhythm with the other person and letting things flow. I feel like we've gotten to such a good place of like detachment. Like we have our own lives and we coexist together very well, and we enjoy the best of the best together, and we're there for each other in the lowest of lows. Like it's just like you gotta ride with the waves, I guess. But to me, it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to love someone. It shouldn't be like you're efforting to love someone. It is a choice, but it's not an efforting. It's not a forceful thing. It's just like it's ever present no matter what. And I think that's what true unconditional love is. It's not going to go away because of like a certain situation or a certain action. And you know, sometimes I feel like you can unconditionally love someone but not stay with them forever too. Like I would listen to that interview with Zach Bush and Jay Shetty on the On Purpose podcast that I mentioned last week. And Jay Shetty asked him a question, and it ended up, he talked about his marriage. He had gotten divorced, and he said that, you know, it wasn't a negative thing that they got divorced. He felt that true unconditional love should allow that person to grow and not be bound by, not to be boxed up forever, and like not allow them to grow when they need to grow, or like, so they ended up getting a divorce because he unconditionally loved this person, and that is what they needed to like expand and, you know, follow their next path. And he still like loves this person unconditionally, but he isn't married to them anymore. And I just think that, you know, that does have such a negative connotation in the world today. And not saying that should also be normalized, but like I think that love should be unconditional no matter what.
I think you're right. Like true love is unconditional. And I also think that you can truly unconditionally love a person without being with them. And I mean, that goes for both like romantic and platonic. And even random strangers. Like you can have love for other humans just because you're a compassionate human being, and like recognizing that we are all one, you know. That, and like I said, like there's different forms of it, but true love is unconditional. It's not like you need to do this or, you know, be in a relationship with me in order for me to feel this.
Yeah. That's what it was too. He was like, it was almost like a way of expansion for him, because he was like, it's not true unconditional love if I need you to stay with me.
Yeah.
In order to feel love for you. So he had to like let her go because he unconditionally loved her.
Yeah. Sad.
It's so crazy. But it's like, I've never seen that perspective of divorce before, like breaking up. It's usually like more negative, but that was like, oh my gosh, like that is true unconditional love.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, wow, I really love your soul selflessly. Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
He really loved her. Yeah. It is uncommon. And that is unfortunate, you know, because I think that somebody, like, people change so much, you know, we expand so much, and scientifically every 7 years all of their cells in your body renew, so you are physically a different person every 7 years. And I think that emotionally and mentally, like, I'm a different person damn near every day. You know, like it's constant growth. So when you make a commitment like that to somebody, like marriage, you love them, you love their soul, hopefully, truly, unconditionally. And so in that, you understand that, like, I love you no matter the conditions, right? Like, no matter the conditions. And I wish that more people could learn to honor that regardless of the circumstances, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, it can be challenging. Like, it requires forgiveness, and it requires so much selflessness and self-love. That's a hard one. It's a hard subject. But it's such a good one.
It is, yeah. It's like at the heart of our existence. Literally. Our heart.
Yeah, literally. We really, truly, like, operate from our heart.
But I think that's why we go through life, like, searching for love. Because that is the essence of our being.
Yeah.
True unconditional love. So we forget that it's innately in us. We forget that we are made of love, light, energy. So we enter this life and we go off searching for it in someone else. And I think, you know, when you do fall in love with someone, you have moments where you're connected to that oneness, and you're going to kind of lose it a little bit. It's going to like kind of come and go. That's where like the waves, they're going to be like more dramatic. It's going to be like more conditional, because you haven't banded in a way that allows you to know that you are unconditional love. But I think that you can still catch glimpses of it in other people's. For a moment, they're reminded of that unconditional love that they are forgetting, again, is inside of them.
Within them. Yeah. It makes sense that love seems to be like our number one priority. Like, so many people are desiring to attract that. And then the irony is, like, you can't unless you feel that within, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, you can attract love in some forms, but like you said, like, it's waves. It's more triggering when you sense lack, when you feel fear. It's much more triggering than when you feel the infinite abundance that's within you. I mean, it definitely expands you. I think, you know, you can experience a much deeper level of love with someone else after you have recognized that and kind of harnessed that and grounded yourself in love.
It may take as many relationships as you need in order to realize that. Like, that's where the, you know, in between there, your waves are a little wavier because it's teaching you. You're learning. You know, you're just learning. You're learning love. You're learning. You're trying to navigate what love is, or you're trying to learn what love is, and eventually, you'll always get there. And you'll realize, like, that you are love.
Yeah,
you really are.
Definitely. And the more self-acceptance that you learn, the more you're able to be vulnerable and, like, build those strong connections with other people, because you don't fear that anymore. You don't fear the hurt anymore.
And the energetics of it is, like, we're talking about our heart space again, the heart chakra. Like, you have to make sure the first 3 are in a good place before you can truly embody and express from your heart chakra. Because if your root chakra is imbalanced, you're always going to feel insecure. You're going to feel lack or feel fearful or insecurity because your root chakra is out of balance, and then that is never going to allow you to fully open up your heart chakra. So in a sense, that is kind of symbolic of, like, the journey of self that you have to go through. You have to feel rooted, grounded, and safe in this world, and then you have to feel safe to feel fully embodied in your body and your creativity and your purpose, and then, you know, confidence. First 3 chakras, and then you get to your heart chakra. And if you are open in the first 3, then you can start to feel more vulnerable and have more ability to connect with other people and feel comfortable in connecting to other people, and start letting your guards down and not lead from that fear or that insecurity, the doubt, the lack, any of that, because you feel you're stable, confident, secure, happy without another person.
Yeah, that was such a good point. It was so nice. It was so good. I'm wordless. You definitely do need to be rooted, and I feel like when your heart chakra is closed off, I feel it physically. Like, I know that I have experienced that fear physically within my heart chakra, and you can kind of feel, like, how you guard yourself because you're trying to protect yourself, but you're also blocking true love. And I think that if you want to attract true love in your life in every and any area, you do have to kind of align those first 3 concepts within yourself, so that you feel safe and confident and grounded and able to tap into
have a
that
purpose.
Yes.
A purpose
outside of loving. Yes, it's so important. And I think that building, first of all, if you're introverted, the first step to opening your heart chakra is to allow people into your life and to try to build those connections, because you cannot expand without relationships. You can't. Which I think is really fascinating, and I didn't learn that for a long time. So at least start to build those in platonic relationships in order to understand what true unconditional love feels like, in order to practice that, so that you can really truly embody that, and then you can attract it in other areas, you know. But I think I'm so blessed because my friends have truly taught me unconditional love. Like, they have all accepted me for the good and the bad, you know, for the flaws and the perfection. But I've also learned to focus on that within my friends and my family, you know, and to intentionally choose to recognize the amazing, magical, wonderful aspects of all of you. I love you so much. I feel so lucky to have you in my life, and I feel so lucky that I have been able to receive that, because it has changed my life in the best ways, in every way. And what a blessing. You know, it is truly the highest frequency, and it is also intertwined with the frequency of abundance, you know.
I love that you said that. Going off of that is the importance of gratitude and appreciation. And if you're wanting to connect with your heart, I think that, you know, for me, tapping into the gratitude that you have for all the amazing things that you already have in your life, it is going to raise your frequency. And you can't get from here to here just like that, you know. You have to like level yourself up, level up your emotions and your vibrations to meet love. And I think that gratitude can really begin to lift the vibration and start to change your mindset from lack to abundance, from, you know, fear to faith. And so one of my favorite things is getting myself into a routine where I can practice gratitude regularly. And so for me, that looks like a lot of times in the morning, I'll sit down and I'll have quiet time where I can ground myself. So you're connecting to your root chakra. So maybe you're just sitting there and imagining, you know, yourself like rooting into the earth, and then begin thinking about, or you can write like, I'm grateful for this today. I'm so grateful for this amazing cup of coffee. It's so delicious. It is, you know, maybe it's fueling my energy for the day. Like think about like the positive aspects of that. And it could be something so simple as that, or like something that is deeper, whatever you're kind of feeling that day. But just really, truly focusing on what you are grateful for, focusing on the love and the abundance that you already have in your life, and let yourself feel that. Like, think about it, write it down, and then just sit there in that. And that is what's kind of taught me the feeling of unconditional love, like inside myself first. It taught me what that feels like and like how that is embodied within me. You know, so if you can allow yourself to feel those things, and then maybe allow yourself to explore meditation, because meditation does kind of allow you to transcend the 3D. And once you do that, it's easier to tap into the vibration of love, unconditional love, abundance, all the things. So, you know, for me, it's a major part of my journey is that of the relationship with myself, learning to get to know myself, not me as Halie, but me as, you know, divine cosmic being, like the cosmic part of myself. So that is why I think meditation is so important, and connecting to your true self, your high, and your true self is abundance. Your true self is love, light, energy. So just like learning to tap into that and feeling that and being that is so important.
Yeah, most definitely. The more you connect to that, the more you feel, and the more your life reflects that. And I think I saw this as you were talking. I saw this quote the other day, and it reminded me of it. It said that the beauty that you see in the world is a reflection of the beauty within you. And I think the same goes for love. And I think so many people believe that they have this ability to love others so much, and then that they don't deserve that love back. And I think that the love that you experience within your external reality is a reflection of the love within you. So if you're one of those people who like loves to a fault, you know, quote unquote, remember that that love is within you. That is what you are. And you don't need those circumstances in order to feel that. You just have to connect to you.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I also just realized we're kind of wearing the colors
I've been
of
thinking
love.
that too. Check out our color episode. But yes, green, pink, red, all love colors. Infinite abundance.
Yes. As always, like crystals that can align with the heart chakra. It's going to be like rose quartz, strawberry quartz, aventurine green, moss agate, usually the pink and green stones. So I recommend having those crystals around because crystals emit their own unique vibration, and these specific ones do emit a vibration similar to that of the vibration of love. So it'll help you have that energy around you as well.
Mm-hmm. I think too, on like a more, I'm going to say logical level, because a lot of people will be like, well, I don't know about that. Like, how do you measure that, right? I think that those colors and having those stones, which are from the earth, can help us to remember those feelings. Like, so on a habitual kind of scale, you can keep a rose quartz in your pocket and you take it out and you think, okay, I want to embody love. So, you can use it in multiple ways, no matter what you believe. It still can work.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always say that as like the first step of like when you're getting into crystals, so you can just use it as a reminder. It's like a little symbol,
a little reminder, symbol of love in your pocket.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
However, crystals are scientifically proven to work, and all of our electronics are made of crystals. So
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep. So, if you're unaware of that,
oh my gosh,
do your research.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we can finish up our love episode. We'll pull a card as we do to finish off our episodes, and just kind of see what.
From the Moon Witch Tarot deck, which is in a pink box. So we love that. Very aligned as always.
Yes.
And it's covered in plants. Abundance. Knight of Cups. Oh my God, look at this sweet little baby horse.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're not watching the video, it is a horse that's bent over, kind of staring at this person. And cups is hearts, water, love. There is water in this picture as well. And then it's like a starry night. Looks kind of magical and soothing. And like, it looks like the horse is looking with adoration and love, honestly. So cute.
Horses are also extremely emotionally intelligent.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh my gosh. You guys, this happens every single time. So the Knight of Cups represents romance, love, affection, travel, and creative ideas. Unlike the other knights of the minor arcana, Knight of Cups is not galloping forward, but it is taking a moment of rest and connecting with her loyal companion. She is still on the mission to bring all our dreams and desires into reality. Some call her the most feminine of all knights, or the lover and seducer. Knight of Cups is calm and in touch with her emotions and intuition. She is at peace with everything that surrounds her. Her white-maned horse is a well-known symbol of spirituality, light, and purity. When Knight of Cups appears in a reading, it could suggest many things: marriage, new romance, travel with your partner, signal to pursue your creative and artistic ideas, or listening to your intuition more. Anything in the name of love. Knight of Cups could also represent a real person in your life, someone poetic, affectionate, spontaneous, and adventurous. Knight of Cups may also suggest that you need to develop these qualities in yourself. The reversed meaning says that it represents immaturity, lack of commitment, an idealistic nature, and not being able to depend on yourself. The reversed Knight of Cups also serves as a reminder to not let your emotions rule your life. Remember, it is all about a healthy balance. So I just had something kind of come to me that adds to my response of our earlier discussion about, a long-term relationship. And you talked about a lot about needing like relationships to, inspire growth and to, expand. And when you're with the same person for a long period of time, it's easy to get in a routine and do things the same every day. And like, it kind of does become mundane, and you're not like necessarily expanding if you're not putting effort into doing that. But I think this card is kind of magical in that it is encouraging things like travel and like being creative and things like that. I think it is really important to intentionally do things that get you both out of your comfort zone as well, so that you're still growing and expanding, but you can also do that together. So that's one thing that has been really great for us, is to travel and to do different things and to change things up. And like, I think that you can do that while being with the same person.
Yes.
Like, you can expand while being with the same person.
I took a close relationship psychology course in college, and I remember there was a chapter on that, and how to maintain healthy relationships is to not get stuck in those cycles of doing the same things and like becoming bored, because every relationship, you know, if it's going to last, might get to that place if you're not intentionally doing new things. So one of the ways that they recommended to maintain a really healthy relationship and maintain that expansion within the relationship is to try new things together, whether that be, you know, like something that's going to give you adrenaline, like, you know, skydiving, or if it's just trying a new restaurant, or, you know, taking a day off to do something fun, or whatever it is, to do unique, exciting, new experiences together will keep a romantic relationship exciting.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. I liked too, it said that she's in control of her emotions and that she's calm, because I think that so many people who struggle with codependency are in this constant state of anxiety and what's going to happen next. And like they grab onto this control of like, okay, well, the relationship needs to be here and then it's got to do this at this time. And I think that in order to really experience that true unconditional love, you must be more present and more detached to the outcome, rather than, you know, trying to control that outcome and allowing your emotions and your thoughts to overtake you, because it is so easy to overthink, but it's actually easier physically to not allow that to happen and to stay calm and stay grounded in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. I love it. So we invite you guys to maybe ponder that, get out your journal, think about what love means to you, what's coming up for you from this episode, what this card might be inviting you to look at, because as we talked about, it all starts within. So we just want to encourage you to explore your inner world, and we love you all so much, like truly, and we're so grateful to have you a part of this journey with us. And as we say, like, we want to build a community of love and light, and this is always going to be a safe space for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have not much to add to that because it was so good. We do truly love you. Thank you so much for joining us, for listening, for raising the frequency. We'll see you next episode.
Bye.